So there are two hilarious moments with Gandalf and Pippin in the books that the books kind of did just leave out. And I think I am really loving their relationship a little bit. But I was going to start this essay off by saying that Gandalf is way grumpier in the book versus the movie. But now that I've thought about that for a little bit, I kind of think he's equally grumpy in both. And it kind of made me really appreciate how at least that one aspect of Gandalf's personality was captured really well by Ian McKellen. Because he has these two moments in this book that made me crack up because of his grumpiness. And it's even more funny when you realize the change from the book to the movie. Now, let me paint a picture. In the movie, Merry and Pippin meet up with the resurrected Gandalf and Fangorn. So they've already met Gandalf the White. But in the book, they don't really know that he's back. And so they hang out with Treebeard for the entire time from when they meet him to when they storm Isengard. And then there's a scene in the books where Merry and Pippin are describing that he comes out of nowhere and actually goes to Isengard on his way to go get not Éomer, but Erkenbrand, the extra warrior who he's going to get 1,000 foot soldiers and then go help at Helm's Deep. So it's totally different from the movie. But Merry and Pippin don't know that Gandalf is even alive in the first place. So it makes this scene hilarious because this is Merry and Pippin explaining the story to Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn. And this is what he says. We were just wondering where it would be safe to lie and get some sleep. And this is after the sieging of Isengard. The Ents kind of put them down and they're sieging during the night. And it's still ongoing, but they're looking for somewhere to sleep right now. So it says, we were just wondering where it would be safe to lie and get some sleep when the most amazing thing of all happened. There was the sound of a rider coming up swiftly on the road. Merry and I lay quiet, and Treebeard hid himself in the shadows under the arch. Suddenly, a great horse came striding up, like a flash of silver. It was already dark, but I could see the rider's face clearly. It seemed to shine, and all his clothes were white. I just sat up, staring with my mouth open. I tried to call out and couldn't. There was no need. He halted just by us and looked down at us. Gandalf, I said at last, but my voice was only a whisper. Did he say, hello, Pippin, this is a pleasant surprise? No, indeed. He said, get up, you tomfool of a toque. Where in the name of wonder in all this ruin is Treebeard? I want him, quick. No hello, no nothing. He just rolls up after seeing the shock of Merry and Pippin's face of seeing Gandalf again, and he just calls Pippin a tomfool of a toque. It's such a good moment. I can just see the laughter in the face of Pippin when he was telling the story, really harping on Gandalf when he didn't say hello to him. And after thinking that Gandalf was dead, he just kind of comes riding into nowhere up to them to Isengard, saying that he has urgent business to attend to. Now, his moment of grumpiness here, I kind of feel like it's totally understood because he has much more important things to deal with other than what he's currently doing. But it's still just kind of funny because he hears the whole story from the perspective of Merry and Pippin, and it's given to Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, and it just kind of feels like a bit gossipy and funny. And I am really loving the little relationship that they have. It seems like Gandalf is constantly annoyed by him, but then Pippin just keeps making him laugh in certain ways. Now, I read actually ahead because I had to read for the podcast that we're recording for the Fellowship of the First Time Readers, because my friends have read up to the end of the book 3. So I just finished the end of book 3, and there's another hilarious moment that happens between those two characters, and it's just really making me appreciate these two comedic geniuses. This is what the book says, and it's talking about this after Gandalf is saying, it's actually a good thing that you touch the palantír, because that will maybe help you learn. And then he says this, no, the burn hand teaches best. After that, advice about the fire goes to heart. It does, said Pippin. If all the 7 stones were laid out before me now, I should shut my eyes and put my hands in my pockets. Good, said Gandalf. That is what I hoped. But I should like to know, Pippin began. Mercy, cried Gandalf. If the giving of information is to be the cure of your inquisitiveness, I shall spend the rest of my days in answering you. What more do you want to know? The names of all the stars and all the living things and the whole history of Middle-earth and over heaven and under the sundering sea, laughed Pippin. Of course. What less? But I am not in a hurry tonight. These are honestly some of the best moments I think that Tolkien has in his writing. They're some of my favorites. because this is a very serious book. It's a very serious series. And then all of a sudden there's like this little burst of comedy that just makes me crack up when I'm reading it. In the heat of a battle or in the rush of Gandalf running to talk to Treebeard before he rushes off to go to the Erkenbrand, he just throws these little small moments of comedy in there to lighten the situation a bit. It's not all dramatics with him. But this also reminds me a bit of what Gildor said way back when in the 3rd chapter of Fellowship of the Ring, that do not meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger. And as the pages go by, I'm kind of learning that was like a little prophecy for us. And don't worry, Gandalf does come back from his meeting with Treebeard here, and he does wish them well. He says that he's busy that night and he must be fast, but he also says to take care of themselves. So he's a grump, but he's a kind grump at the very least. But I am very curious. This is a short essay, but let me know what you guys think about Gandalf. Who among us have him as our favorite character? And why do you like or dislike him so much? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.